guys, back with another Mr. Black's True Hollywood Tales. Actually picking up where I left off this time, not bouncing around too much, so it probably will happen anyway. In case you're new to this series I do, basically it's a series I'm doing where I'm telling stories about my time living in Los Angeles. I lived in Los Angeles between 1991 and 2016. So a lot of shit has happened in between those years. Those over 20 years I was out there. Just basic tales of my time out in Hollywood. Like I said, I have been getting a little bit of a good response about these. I'd like some input, especially if you lived in Hollywood in Los Angeles in the early 90s. And you recognize certain things I'm talking about, or maybe you were there with me. There's a lot of people I used to know back then I've lost contact with since, so feel free to add your 2 cents in as well. In the last episode, I actually missed a key point, which is going to come up in this video. I forgot to mention, while staying at the church squad, my wife Darl and I had acquired a cat. Actually, thinking back about it, we actually got the cat we were staying at the Rector Squad, which was the abandoned hotel. Did I say abandoned hotel that we were in. I mentioned in a couple previous videos ago. I can't remember the cat's name to save my fucking life, though. I don't remember. Anyway, so we had this cat, and I remember this cat was nuts. You used to joke about this cat being like an escaped LSD experiment, because this cat was insane. Then, of course, if you see my cats now, they're not much different. Like this one. Yeah, as you can see, he's just sleeping. He's got a cone in his head. I'll talk about that in the blog that I'm going to be recording later on. But yeah, anyway, so now that the cat is mentioned, so we had a cat, an unnamed cat that we can't remember the name of. So after we moved out of the squad, because I was making enough money where I could pay weekly rent at like a hotel or something, and it was just living in the squat started getting really annoying after a while. Just too much trouble. So it's like, you know what, fuck it. I was working 5 days a week, making 27, 21 at the time. Sometimes it varied. Later on it varied because sometimes they would have me work in other places, so I'll be doing more hours, so they'll actually pay me a little bit more. So I would be, instead of making 27, 20, I was making like 31.50, something like that. Not a lot more, but it was something else. But more than that in a little bit. But I was making enough, to pay weekly rent somewhere. So we found out there's like a hotel literally down the street from the abandoned hotel that we used to live at. And it's called the St. Francis. So we moved in there. I forgot how much it was a week there, but it was cheap. This was early 90s Hollywood. That side of Hollywood was cheap because it was really trashy. I kind of missed that. But we got a room. I think it was on like the third floor, I believe. So I remember that. It's a tiny room, little tiny bathroom. We had a little hot plate, by the bed and everything. Now, a little history about the St. Francis. Actually, a lot of celebrities stayed there, but it wasn't, the type of place we had celebrities stay there, like, ooh, it's a fancy place where the celebrities wined and dined and partied, and well, they partied alright, just not that kind. It wasn't like that. This is basically where celebrities on a bender went to, you know. Like for instance, this Kiefer Sutherland stayed there, and like Kiefer Sutherland stayed there for like about a month because he was on a like he was a big on drugs back then, on crack and all that shit. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what drugs Kiefer Sutherland was doing, but I know it's probably coke. So, but he was laid up there for a while on a binge. There was a few other people too that stayed there. Same thing, you know. It was like the place to go to because you could live there cheap, you know. There were prostitutes on a corner, drug dealers on a corner, so it was like one-stop shopping, you know. Which reminds me, another key point I keep missing, which that's the problem when you're doing stuff like this. You're doing like a memoir thing, which is why I'm getting myself to make more notes now. You know, as I'm doing these videos, I'm getting in a habit of making notes before I do a video, so that way I have a mental note of what to talk about, because I've missed so much when I just try to do it freeform sometimes. Well, it's still freeform, but without notes. What I should have mentioned when we were staying at the Rector Squat, the hotel squat, way back in a few videos I mentioned, on the corner of Hollywood and Western, I don't know what it is right now, but on the corner of Hollywood and Western, there was it was like a little hot dog. It was like a hot dog hamburger stand thing. You had that, and then next to it, you had a porn shop. It was like a chain. It was like part of a chain of porn shops around LA for a while, and some still are. That particular one is not there anymore. Just like the hot dog place isn't there anymore. I think that's. I'm not sure what that is. I think that they changed that into like some sort of clothing place or something. I don't remember. If somebody can let me know, remind me what that is on the corner of Hollywood and Western now, let me know. But yeah, it used to be a hot dog place, and it was open 24 hours. I'm not sure how the food was there. I never ate any food from there, but I know every night, especially Saturday nights, it was bad. Every night they had hookers and pimps and drug dealers and everybody else hanging out in that corner all night long. There was like shit going on. Sometimes it would be hard to sleep. I mean, even though we were sleeping in an abandoned building, that shit echoed into the building even though it was across the street. And also, living in St. Francis, which was on the other side of this, there you once again, especially like I said, the weekends, like Saturday nights, it was noisy then too, because you know not only did you have people cruising, because back then cruising was like a big thing back in the 90s, you know. So people were cruising up and down Hollywood Boulevard, cruising up and down Western. So it was busy. You had the prostitutes and crackheads and everything hanging out in the corner. I remember one lady. Actually, she did this a few times. This was almost a regular thing. You know, she would get high and then she would start stripping her clothes off and start yelling at oncoming traffic and people. You know, butt ass naked on the fucking corner of Hollywood and Western. If anybody else remembers that, comment below. But I was like, oh my god, it was crazy over there, you know. And right up the street, little up for Western, going towards Franklin, there was a hotel up there, and that was really bad. That was like that's where everybody from there went to. You know, if they weren't squatting somewhere else, like in a tent or something, or they weren't staying at the Rector Squat with us, they were up the street. You know, think about a lot of those people that hung out there did not come in a Rector Squat, though. It was mostly just, you know, just our few little groups and stuff like that and all, you know, but there wasn't really, like, not a lot of that came in there for some reason, thinking about it. There was this one guy that we knew from staying at the Rector Squat, and from hanging, he hung out in the boulevard and everything. Um, he was staying there. He ended up staying. He ended up somehow moving in there. He broke up. There was a girl he was going out with that we knew. There was a couple of them actually. I can't remember the guy's name. But then he, broke up with her, and he moved in this hotel, living with this other girl that we started talking to. And I don't remember. I wish I remember her name. She was really sweet. You know, she's cute, blonde hair, glasses, a little bit shorter than me, so she was little. I don't remember her name, but they were living there. We actually hung out with the girl a lot. You know, they were both, hitting the needles, as a lot of people in Hollywood were wont to do back then. But she was still cool to hang out with and everything. We're still hanging with her. There's some other people, like she has some family staying in there too, so we talked to them too a lot, and everything. We got to know a few people in there, and sometimes we would get to know some of the door people, depending who worked that night. Being the type of hotel it was, and people easily getting drugs and everything. And this girl, she was shooting up, and at a certain point, she was shooting up more and more. I think around about this time, the guy that was staying with her ended up leaving her. I think. I'm not sure. It's kind of blurry what might have been the catalyst of the next thing I'm about to mention, but um, she I think we seen like she went downstairs. She was going outside, and I think she was going down. She was just going down to, I guess, the score, I guess, or something like that. I'm not quite sure the details. I just remember her leaving, and next we know, like maybe like an hour or so later, heard an ambulance come by and everything, and some people were kind of freaking out a little bit. Apparently, what happened? This girl went downstairs and like went around the corner because, okay, where St. Francis is on Hollywood Boulevard, after you're heading west, you go past Western, where Hollywood Western's at, and you're heading west Serrano, that's the street. Serrano. That was like basically St. Francis was actually on the corner of Hollywood and Serrano, actually. Was that Serrano? I think that was Serrano. Either way, it was like you go past it's that first street there. It's a little small street. Completely different to what it was then. Completely different now. But she went around that corner, and apparently she went around that corner and she shot up, but I don't know if she either OD'd or unfortunately sometimes for a while there, and I think it still happens, they have this thing where somebody kind of gives you a hot shot, which basically it could be a mixture of stuff in it, but anyway, it ends up killing you. But I think she might have OD'd. Either way, they went in her corner, they found her. She was sitting there and she was dead. And it was really fucked up. It was sad, because she's a sweet girl. Wouldn't be the first person I know that died like that. So this is in '92, because we were there for a while. We were there for about a good year, I think. But 1992, and right just in time, uh, the LA riots happened. It's it started off around like all the way down Normandy, like in South Central, and it just spread like wildfire, literally. You know, um, Shit was crazy. People were looting everywhere. Um, and it got to Hollywood. A friend of mine, well, ex-friend of mine, but at the time we were friends. He came by sometimes, and we would hang out. Sometimes we were we went out that day. We were going down the street just to see what was going on. Going down Western, there was a strip mall over in Sunset and Western area, which is I think they're actually still building something there now. It's like building a mall or something there. I don't remember. Last time I was down there before I left, it was like maybe a couple months before I left. It was all still under construction. I think that was going to be like expensive apartment buildings and maybe like a shopping center, some such bullshit. I don't remember, but went down there. There was a strip mall there that had a market there. I think it was a Lucky Market, and they had a couple other shops, a hair salon, but they had like a warehouse store. Now, warehouse was much like Tower Records or Sam Goody. You know, it was a record shop. You know that sold like albums at the time. VHS, DVDs weren't quite a thing yet. You know, but it is. They sold CDs, movies, and video games, accessories, stuff like that, all the things like that. And we went down there, and people busted up. People just running out with handfuls of shit, you know, and a couple security guards just sitting there. And we were always like, it's like, what's going on? It's like, what the fuck are we gonna do? You know, and it's for real. And for real, it's like, security guards don't make a lot anyway. But 1992 Hollywood, you didn't make shit if you were a security guard. So you're not getting paid enough to stop 30 people fucking running in and out of the store just stealing what the fuck they want, you know. They're just smashing shit and taking it, you know. They're running in the grocery store. I mean, looting was fucking nuts. And then besides, and the whole riot thing started started the whole the Rodney King thing, of these fucking cops beating the shit out of Rodney King, and how the cops were acquitted of it. And you know, a lot of the riots start as an outrage because of that verdict, but really in the end, people, they were taking advantage of it and using an excuse just to be a fucking asshole, basically, you know. But yeah, what will start off as like an outrage over injustice, over, you know, these white cops beating a black, you know, person in the fucking right in the streets and being videotaped, and they're just beating the shit out of them. But then they're acquitted of it, the crime that is on them on video. It turned like a lot of those people using it as an opportunity who didn't even give a shit about the actual situation that brought this on. They're like, oh, hey, let's go looting too, you know, let's get some free shit, man. And then you had people running by, they were just torching shit, you know. I mean, you go through Koreatown, you had people were posted up on the roofs with fucking guns and everything. And a lot of people were posted on top of their buildings with fire hoses because people were coming by and they were firebombing buildings as they would go. You know, literally, like you could like look out the window and see smokestacks all across the city from different fires that were started. It was fucking insane. You know, they actually tried to do that to the hotel we were in. You know, we had people posted up on top of the roof with fire hoses, same thing, you know. These guys were trying to torch it, and they were ready for it. And it's like the whole LA riots was fucking insane. Walking down there, you seen the cops. They were arresting so many people, they didn't even have enough handcuffs, so they were using zip ties, you know. Cops are driving on the street with fucking like stacks of zip ties hanging off the spotlights, you know. That it was just that many. It was at that point, you know. I just remember it was an insane time. I never lived in something like that before. I've never been around to see anything like that. So that was nuts. Actually, before the riots, around my birthday came up, and it was my 21st birthday. I turned 21. So, um, Darla and I decided to just kind of go out, and we went to down the street. There was a Denny's, which is still there, by the way. It's right across from the KTLA building. KTLA is a a television station. It's in the Hollywood area, and right across there's like a Denny's. So we went there, and back then this Denny's had like a little bar in it. So, and this was back in the days where if you went in, it was your birthday, you proved it was your birthday, you ate for free. So that was our like big birthday celebration and everything. But yeah, we lived there most of the year. We saved up some money. 'Cause I was working. I was starting to work more, and Darl had a couple under the table jobs. I think, like doing some telemarketing and stuff at the time. Yeah, Darl wasn't getting disability yet, so yeah. She worked a couple telemarketing jobs. I was still working at the STEP program. We we lived there for a while, and eventually we found an apartment that was cheap. It was like a single apartment, single apartment with a kitchen and a bathroom. So we ended up finally moving. And moved there. It was up on Franklin Avenue in Cahuenga. And of course, that's going to be for the next video. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for sitting around and listening to me rant and reminisce about the old days living in Hollywood. If you liked it, though, hit the like button, leave some comments. If you're a regular and watch these and everything, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the views on these. I appreciate comments. I appreciate everything about that. If you're new to this, I do a bunch of videos like this. So you may want to, when you hit the subscribe button, which by the way I'm telling you, asking you to subscribe. No, I'm telling you, subscribe. Uh, hit the notification bell because I upload videos pretty often. On a weekly basis. I do these videos. I do vlogs. I post up videos from my band. Have a show with my spouse Susie called the Mr. Blak and Dr. Bitchcraft Show, which might be already uploaded by the time this video is uploaded. Because I'll be working on that one first, because we already shot that one tonight. And I got a couple more videos too, it's coming soon, get reaction videos. So, also, if you haven't already, please go check out my Patreon, be a patron. I have lots of exclusive content on there. It's cheap, be a patron on there. You don't have to spend much money. And I'm going to be working on stuff for that too as well. That's where going to be the not safe for work content. So that's going to have a little bit more fun with that we can't do on YouTube here. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.